Hello and welcome to the Neuse.com Facebook Live Hurricane Dorian Special Update. We're in the Neuse studio right here tonight, 9 o'clock on Tuesday evening as we prepare for Hurricane Dorian. I'm your host, publisher of Neuse and Neuse.com, BJ Murphy, and I've got some special guests with me right now. We'll introduce him now, but we'll get to him in a second. Senator Jim Perry, thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you.
And Representative Chris Humphrey, thank you also for being here. We're going to find out some information from our state leaders here in just a few moments. But first, I want to make sure that everybody likes and shares this important video. So please, I know we've got a lot of people watching us live right now, so please go ahead and like and share it. Also want to say a special thank you to Lenoir Tree Service. Our Hurricane Dorian Facebook Live special update is brought to you by Lenoir Tree Service. I had a good chat with Aaron this afternoon. He's already known it's going to be really busy. So as we prepare for Hurricane Dorian, we certainly hope that no tree will fall. But if something like that does happen, make sure you call Aaron at Lenoir Tree Service. You can reach Aaron at 252-522-4776. Lenoir Tree Service has been serving Eastern North Carolina for well over 25 years, and you can check them on their website at LenoirTreeService.com. Again, that's 252-522-4776 or online at LenoirTreeService.com. And be sure to tell them that Neuse sent you. Also want to say special, we know today we have, do we have a graphic on our We Report group, Neuse group? I don't think we do, but that's okay. We've got a lot of people who've joined our We Report Neuse Facebook group. If you can't find it on Facebook, just go to wereportneuse.com and you'll find that Facebook group. We've got close to 4,000 members. So during times of storms, emergencies, it's a really good place for neighbors to help engage with other neighbors. And so we want to make sure that you join that Facebook group. So make sure someone can tag that in the information here below. And also, if you'd like to advertise with us, I mean, we're certainly an organization that is, we're really focused on hyper-local free news, but there's plenty of opportunities to advertise with us, just like this live, special election coverage. Those kind of things come up all the time, our newsletter, you name it, and want to say, please consider supporting our local business as well. We've got an 8 o'clock update on Hurricane Dorian. I'm no meteorologist, but we'll at least share what we've got from the National Weather Service. Can we show that track map, fellas? At 8 p.m., Hurricane Dorian was stationary near Grand Bahama Island with winds of 140 miles per hour, which is a Category 4 hurricane. A slow west-northwestward motion is expected to resume tonight and continue all day tomorrow. Then a turn towards the northeast is expected to begin overnight, Wednesday night, and then a gradual weakening is expected. But Dorian will still remain a very powerful hurricane over the next couple of days. The system has shown some signs of increasing in size over the past few hours, and this trend is expected to continue. Hurricane force winds extend outward to 45 miles. So I know we talk about this a lot. This cone, it is a cone, not the exact line the hurricane will take. So outward 45 miles, and tropical storm force winds extend outward to 150 miles from the center. Can we show the rainfall map real quick, fellas? Because I know we're always concerned about wind. We had that issue during Irene, and then rain, certainly an issue we had during Matthew. But Hurricane Dorian is expected to bring somewhere between 5 and 10 inches of rain to coastal North Carolina. Some isolated amounts up to 15 inches. Certainly, we know that this could cause life-threatening flash flooding. Tropical storm winds may reach eastern North Carolina as early as Wednesday evening. In addition, storm surge will affect the coastal areas of North Carolina as Dorian makes its approach. We just don't know the exact track at this moment, so a lot will be said over the next day or so. I want to say a special thank you to Chris Decker, who is an avid, he calls himself the Facebook weatherman, and please refer to the National Hurricane Center for that information. And Chris works with us down here at Magic Mile Media, Magic Mile Screen Printing, and he came up with this really fun Decker's official beer and gas meter. I know hurricanes are real serious business. We want you to stay safe. But it was just kind of a lighthearted moment to kind of smile. And right now, his level on the beerometer, guys, is at a 6-pack. So make sure you get the 6-pack. And the gasometer, he's got it at filler up. So we'll watch and see if Chris Decker updates this tomorrow morning once the new information comes out. So with that, I want to say a special thank you to Senator Jim Perry as well as Representative Chris Humphrey. Fellas, what can you tell us from the state perspective on what's happening with Hurricane Dorian?
Well, over the last couple of days, Chris and I have had a series of telephone calls and a few conference calls, and it's really been impressive to see how quickly people get organized and how they mobilize for this effort. So the Emergency Operations Center has opened, as you would expect, as it has in several counties in eastern North Carolina. I think for us, it's been impressive to see all of the coordination at the state and the local levels. Right. We've had so much devastation in the last few years, as you're aware, that it's raised awareness, and people really take it seriously. So I think we've learned that it's way too early to either feel that we're out of harm's way or necessarily in harm's way, and it's just time to be vigilant and be prepared for this storm. One thing that's been repeated over and over to us, and it was really impactful. When you look at those maps and they show that little diagram with the hurricane, and you mentioned this earlier, that's not where the impact is. That's not it. And as this storm slows, it breaks up and it impacts a greater surface area. Larger number of people are impacted. So we need to be prepared. We need to be mindful of what could happen and be vigilant and just take steps to prepare.
Yeah, and the cone area is where you got to be mindful, as you mentioned. But what I've seen is Lenoir County emergency management folks are on spot. I mean, they are in contact. They've been communicating regularly, and you'll hear from Chairman Rouse Sutton here in a moment. But the Lenoir County is prepared, I can tell you that. And the city of Kinston is. Mayor Don Hardy's here, and everybody's ready to go. I've been in contact with the mayor of Ayden and Grifton and John Craft and LaGrange. So I know those folks are ready. So hopefully there'll be minimal impact, but we got to be prepared for the worst.
Now, with the Global Transport being here, being a state facility, there is an eastern branch of the emergency management based right here in our backyard. Have you had a chance to visit or heard any conversation from anybody there about whether it's highway patrol helicopters mobilizing or National Guard or anything like that happening at the airport now?
So I know we've had 300 National Guard troops who have been called to active duty for the storm, and if you had a chance to see the governor's update this afternoon, he has mobilized members of the Highway Patrol. We have power crews from other states already on the way, just in case. And I think it is a product of the learning that has taken place in the last few events that we've had. Representative Humphrey or Chris, we grew up together. We were fortunate to have John Bell, Representative Bell, to help us get organized. So we've had conversations with the Sheriff's Department here in Lenoir and Wayne County. Chris has a few extra duties he has to take care of. But something that was interesting to us is we actually sat in a meeting with Duke Energy a couple of months ago, I guess 2.5 months ago, and we had an issue where the substation was flooded out over in Grifton, and they didn't have power, and Duke Energy is actually spending over $1 million to make sure that doesn't happen again. They're putting up about an 8-foot seawall structure that's going to be a permanent structure. But of course, we have this storm pop up on us, so they've erected a permanent structure over there to try to help those people and ward things off. I think the best thing we can do for this storm is take all steps to prepare. It's like when I finally do take my raincoat to work. That way, it's not going to rain if we're prepared. So right. The best thing we can do right now is to take the proper steps and be mindful and respectful of this storm.
Yeah, there is a lot of, got us here from a lot of people in Florida, the Bahamas, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina right at this moment, because we want to certainly wish this thing away, but certainly pray it away too. Chris, what about you? What have you seen on the state level?
Well, we've been in contact with DPS and those folks. They're giving us updates on a regular basis. I mean, I think North Carolina's ready. I really do.
And is Mike Sprayberry? He's still in.
He's
still. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's a gentleman who's gone through multiple hurricanes and fires and flooding. So
yeah,
he's director of the emergency management state.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's been on the news and he's been in contact with us. Go to readync.org. That's a great website.
Can we put that up on the screen, readync.org?
Even if you type in ncready.org, it'll redirect you. But, charge your phone chargers, your portable chargers, your battery, anything you have. Get gas, get those generators ready. But readync.org can give you all those reminders that you need. So I really feel confident where we are. We just can't predict flooding and that sort of thing. So hopefully that will not occur this time.
And truth is, we all hope that schools stay in and those kind of things. How does that affect your legislative duties when you've got to deal with both of you? Neither one of y'all served during. You served last year, didn't you, Chris?
No,
Or you weren't there last year.
I was able to, and Jim probably was too. We were able to go over to visit with John Bell over at the over the Global Trans Park, but no, we were not.
So as representatives and senators, this is your first one at being in this role.
Yeah.
But you've been around Kinston, Lenoir County long enough. You've survived through enough storms yourself.
We have, and we've been able to rely on our elected officials to keep us updated. So.
Right.
Elected officials and our local teams, and I saw that Jerry had already put out a video here locally with the sheriff and with our county manager with some updates. And in Wayne County, we've got Aaron Stryker, who has stepped up and got the organization humming. So I think all of those information pipelines are ready to go, and now we just need everyone to be smart, not take this thing lightly. It is way too far away to take comfort in what a forecast may be at this point.
Right.
And we need to be vigilant and take the proper steps.
So, what are some communication tools besides Ready? What are some Facebook pages, some national or statewide organizations you want to make sure that the people watching at home are following, either liking on Facebook or on Twitter? What are some of those organizations so people can know that here are some trusted sources to go follow? Because everybody turns into a weatherman during a storm.
At NC Emergency is a real good website. That's the emergency management page.
Mm-hmm.
Lenoir County Emergency Management Facebook page is great because they always provide up to the minute updates, and with Brian Hanks on board now,
And since you mentioned that, just so you know, if you didn't see the report this afternoon, but Brian Hanks, who serves as our editor here at newsnews.com, he also works with Jones County and Lenoir County as their public information officer. So he actually stepped aside from his role as editor here so that he can help the masses. And so we won't be calling on him for any help here because he's got to serve in those roles. But yeah, he did that live today. I think it's Lenoir County Emergency Services Facebook page, and we'll talk to the chair about that here in a minute. But so I'm glad you mentioned that. Maybe one or two others so we can share with the folks before we bring on the mayor and chair.
So I don't want to confuse anyone with any more sites. I think if you stick with those core sites, you'll get good quality information. It's not going to be secondhand. But being public servants, there is something I wanted to mention, if it's okay, and that's this weather impact is happening at an inopportune time because we have an election going on in the 3rd Congressional District, right? And there's a lot of fatigue in the electorate. People are tired of hearing about elections. There been a lot of conversations, have been meeting a lot of candidates, but this is the time. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to do our civic duty, we need people to get out and vote. We're going to have a little weather incident, and other parts of the district will be impacted, so that makes every vote even more important.
Right. I agree. So that election is Tuesday, September 10th. And early voting goes on through this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, weather permitting. I suspect there will be some updates on that. But the election is on Tuesday, September. Have you ever heard of an election that got pushed back because of a weather incident?
I don't think you'll ever see one. So you better pretend like it's going to happen.
I don't
on that
think
day,
I've ever seen it either. I mean, this is the governor said it in stone that was what it's going to be. So Tuesday, September 10th is an election. So I appreciate you mentioning that. Any final thoughts?
No, thank you for doing this. It's a great resource for folks to get the word out and remain informed. Mm-hmm. And I would just stress to make sure that you're using an official source for your news. Don't depend on your next door neighbor and what he heard someone heard. It's important to have good information during this storm.
Yeah, and reach out to us. We follow social media and we follow Neuse, so reach out to us if we can be a resource. Senator Perry and I have pages. And
what's your Twitter handle real quick?
At Rep Humphrey.
At Rep Humphrey. REP or Humphrey,
That's it,
at
yep.
Rep Humphrey. And how about you?
Jim Perry, NC.
Jim Perry NC. So it's at Jim Perry NC on Twitter. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on. Thank you everybody for tuning in. When we come back from this quick little minute or two break, we will have Kinston Mayor Don Hardy, as well as Chair of the Lenoir County Commissioners, Rouse Sutton, will join us as well. So stay tuned. All right. And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Please, please, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. We have Chair of the Lenoir County Commissioners, Rouse Sutton, as well as Kinston Mayor Don Hardy. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So please make sure you share this. Make sure that we get this information out to as many people as we possibly can. And I want to say again a very special thank you. We could not do this Hurricane Dorian Facebook Live special update without the support of Lenoir Tree Service. So as we prepare for Hurricane Dorian, we certainly hope no tree will fall, but if they do, please call Aaron at Lenoir Tree Service. You can reach Aaron at 252-522-4776. Lenoir Tree Service has been serving Eastern North Carolina for over 25 years, and you can find them online at lenoirtreeservice.com. Again, that's 252-522-4776 or online at lenoirtreeservice.com. And again, tell Aaron that Neuse sent you. So be sure that you like our follow us on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram. But really important, join our We Report Neuse Facebook group. A lot of neighbors are helping neighbors right there. You can just go to wereportneusenews.com if you'd like. But go to Facebook, join our We Report Neuse Facebook group. We'll approve you, and you'll see some of the general rules. But the idea, honestly, is just to kind of help neighbors with neighbors. So with us now, we've got Chair of the Lenoir County Commissioners, Rouse Sutton. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And Mayor Kinston Don Hardy, it's good to see you, sir.
Yes, sir. Always good to see you.
So tell us what's happening. I know we heard from our state representatives and senators just a while ago, thinking about from emergency management on down. Tell us what happens at the local level.
A lot.
Absolutely.
Our folks are, of course, in close contact with the state EMS director's office, and in the very near future, if not tomorrow, we'll be opening up their emergency operations center.
Okay.
Also, we have gone ahead and hired Brian Hanks, as you alluded to, as our information officer, because we felt that it was really a strong point for us to have one person of contact.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had consistent news, and that worked very well when we had the last hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
So we are doing that again this year, and I have no doubts whatsoever about our service, even though our hero Roger Dale is gone. But I can assure you he trained people well, and he will even tell you that for the last couple of hurricanes, he was sort of in the background, and these folks have been through it and doing the work.
His
so-
face and stress didn't
Yeah.
seem like, but I get it. No, he's got a great team there.
Yes.
A lot of people have been there a while, a lot of experience. I also had some young people on the team who've been through a couple already.
Yes.
So they're even in their mid late 20s, they've been through some storms already. But you're right. We hate losing Brian to our organization, but for the greater good, it makes sense. He is the best person to help coordinate
Yes.
some of those communication
We
efforts.
thank you.
Oh, now look, I mean, we thank Brian. He's doing great. Mayor, tell us what's happening at the local level.
It's preparation and response time. What we're going to do, who we're going to have here. We want to make sure people are here already to respond to what may occur in the near future here. We hope nothing, but we're preparing to respond. We got fire. Got a new fire chief, great guy for
Right.
sure. He's on the mark. Got an interim chief, Tim Dilday. I talked to those guys today as well. They're ready to go, and this is one thing for sure. We're not. This is not new to us. So we're ready to respond, and we have people in place. I understand, the emergency management for Lenoir County. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day for everybody, and we just look forward to working together and that collaborative effort to respond and having people on standby in order to respond and not be reactive.
And that's a good point, because Mayor, we talked internally with our group here that when should we go live and talk about what's happening? And the reality is, tomorrow school gets back, we'll have a greater understanding of what's happened with the track. There is concern about what happens with schools on Wednesday and certainly Thursday and Friday. And so we thought that maybe tonight was a good time, before y'all start running around with your heads cut off, to bring you in and kind of lay the land. And then once our team gets back in from their Labor Day and y'all are back in your swing of things, then we'll report a little bit more from the ground. So it's a great opportunity to get everybody together. I do want to make a mention that I messed up a while ago. Early voting actually ends on Friday, not Saturday. So please forgive me for that. She was staring me down out there. But no, I'm just kidding. It actually came from a comment on Facebook. So early voting actually does. We want you to go vote. But it does end, early voting ends this Friday, and I would highly encourage you to go ahead and knock out that vote the next day or two, so you get that locked in. So one question that we did have from Facebook was, will the river flood?
It's a very
If
good
we
question.
knew the answer to that,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be sitting here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And right now we want to say we don't want it to flood.
Yeah, we hope and
for sure.
pray that it doesn't. But
We won't prepare
that-
though. So
and I think the main thing right now is people just need to be prepared.
Absolutely.
If you flooded before and there's a possibility that you could flood, then you need to be prepared. You need to know where you're going to go if you do have to be evacuated. You need to have that box of valuables that you want to take with you ready to take. In an overnight suitcase or whatever. It's just a matter of being prepared. Hopefully you won't have to use it, but when you got water coming in your house and you start thinking about those things, it's not time to get them then. You got to get out for
Right.
your safety.
I would like to interject also when you start talking about being prepared. There's some things you want to think about initially, and that's your basic disaster supplies. You want to take a look at that and say, I want to make sure I have things like water. All right, if you're going to have a gallon of water per person in your home for at least 3 to 7 days, that type of thing, make sure you're looking out for your pets. Make sure that they're prepared. You make sure they have what they need, their toys, their food, non-perishable items for you, and probably the dog as well, or cat, more so. So we want to make sure you do that, your emergency plan. In the event you have to evacuate, get your grab-and-go bag, that type of thing, emergency. And you just got to be prepared. Look out for your family members.
Another thing
medical supplies.
that I remembered seeing on the list was have some cash, because
Yeah.
ATMs may not work or the grocery store may not take your card. So that's
Absolutely.
have a little bit of cash on hand also. And also in preparation, again, if it should get to that point, which we hope and pray that it will not, we will have shelter open and available for animals, as our extension
Right.
service did such a wonderful job
They
on
did.
last year.
I think
Yes.
last year, when my wife and I, we had an extra little kennel, and we took it to the folks so the folks who brought their dogs in could have a safe place to stay. And they did a great job at the college
Yeah,
there.
those dogs got a lot of good love and care, I can assure
And
you.
Lenoir, if it comes to be, Lenoir Community College is the main one.
Right.
And then depending on the severity, it goes to the
South Lenoir and
Right.
North Lenoir. So
Okay.
we hope we don't get to that point.
But that will be clearly communicated
Yes.
to the public by Lenoir County Emergency
Yes.
Manager, correct?
And again, like I said, please be sure to listen to like Brian Hanks or go to the EMS website because a lot of things go across. I remember last time, and I'm sure you do too, Mayor,
Yes,
there were
ma'am.
a lot of
Yes, ma'am.
myths that, went across and
Misinformed
people that
information.
weren't sure. I even got caught up in it because there was somebody that was trying to get through a road, and I had just seen where someone who lived down that road said it was open. So, I just assumed that was the gospel, so I posted that it was open. Well, it wasn't.
Wow.
So, you make sure that your information comes from a reliable source. Even if it's somebody who lives on the road, it might not be true. So, we all learn, and I think that's something we need to keep in mind is make sure that the source that you're listening to is the most accurate one and coming directly down from the EMS office.
Mayor, one of the biggest challenges with hurricanes, it happens to be not just the wind damage itself, but also the flash flooding that comes along with it.
Absolutely. To speak to flash flooding, so if you flash flooded in the last 3 floods or so, you're going to flash flood this time. Also, we're probably going to be putting up those signs again to show you like areas that are prone to flash flood. Take heed, govern yourselves accordingly. There are going to be some signs and barricades put up probably throughout the area in the event that we have flooding. Please obey those signs and turn around. And I always say turn around, don't drown. Don't drive through water.
Right.
If we put those signs up, we put them up for a reason, not just because we felt like putting signs up, to make the just because you don't want to want you to
Take
go
a
through that
shortcut.
street. Yeah, so
And that can't be emphasized
Right.
enough because we've had deaths as a result
We have.
of somebody not heating a barrier there or a highway patrolman. And folks, it's you're putting yourself at risk as well as those that might have to try to save you.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
they're already out risking their lives enough, so don't cause any more drama than what we're already going to have.
Right. Yeah. Even though we have some new boats by the fire department, we definitely don't want to have to try them
Use 'em.
out, use them because you did something that was probably not the smartest thing to do.
Right.
Because what happens is you put our folks at risk trying to save you, even though this is what we're here to do. But let's not put our folks in harm's way also because you just want to do what you want
Right.
to do. I'm just speaking frankly, but this is something we must take a look at and for our safety.
And one small thing that I learned over the last few years is that we can do in preparation for a storm event, especially when, as it looks right now, we could get anywhere from 5 to 10 inches locally. And we may
Right.
wake up tomorrow morning and that's dramatically different. By tomorrow night at this time, it could be completely different.
Exactly.
Or for better or worse. But
Right.
one small thing I would encourage everyone to do is if there's a storm drain near your house, to
Right.
go ahead and just take some gloves or a rake and just
Exactly.
clean it out. I know
Yeah.
it's a silly, small little thing, but
It's
But
amazing.
if everybody does
Yeah.
their part, it
Right.
keeps
Major.
things flowing.
Yeah.
and that's right. And the
Yeah.
flow it has all
Keeps the flow.
everything to do with flash flooding.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's what
right.
those storm drains are for.
Right. That's right. And that's why we want to keep them cleaned out. And when you see people day to day throwing stuff in the drains or cutting grass and dumping trash inside the drain, just remember, it could be your house that's going to flood
That's right.
in the very near future because
Right.
somebody, was, just careless in what they're doing.
And
Well,
always be mindful because just like we saw the last time, 2 hurricanes were completely different. Places that flooded before didn't flood,
right.
and places that had
hadn't
flooded
did
didn't.
flood.
And the
Uh-huh.
river even flowed backwards. So
Absolutely, in the
you never
surge.
know.
That's
So
correct.
be sure you keep abreast of what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate both of y'all being on here. Do you have any final thoughts you want to make sure we part with the people watching tonight?
I just
Yeah.
say sleep well because our folks are ready. They're prepared. There was a meeting today. They had Highway Patrol. They had DOT. They had EMS. They had about everybody you can think of together already getting coordinated. And, I mean, that's what it's all about is being prepared. And I don't think they could be any more prepared.
Absolutely. It's that teamwork that we have to, to use, that collaboration with all entities, all agencies. We must come together and work for the betterment of our cities and towns like Kinston, Lenoir County. And we are Lenoir 1, one
right.
Lenoir, and we will be responding the same. So hopefully we can look forward to nothing to happen, but we will prepare, for the worst, and hope not Hope
Right.
we have some good days ahead. So.
Well, thank you both for
Thank you
being
for having
on,
us.
and I want to say a special thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. Also, a big thank you to Dr. Travis Town, who is our executive producer. He's back behind the scenes. To Parker Mitchell, our associate producer, an intern who is there. Parker, wave to everybody. An intern that is now working with us behind the scenes. As well as Aletha Thrower. She has been our social media manager tonight, so she's been keeping up with that. But I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Also, thank you to Lenoir Tree Service, Aaron and his team. We know they're going to have a busy week just in getting ready, and certainly they don't want to be any more busy than they are, but if need be, we want you to call them. And their phone number again was 252-522-4776. Again, that's Lenoir Tree Service. Please, again, if you don't mind, as you log off, please make sure you like and share this broadcast again, so someone who comes in later this evening will be able to watch it. Be sure to join our We Report NeuseNews.com Facebook group. And as always, if you don't mind, share this with a business owner who might want to advertise with us at Neuse News. So thank you, everybody, so much. I'm BJ Murphy, publisher of Neuse News, and really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much.